when you call that person and they don't answer on Monday morning because everyone's at work, what happens?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you don't need more leads. You need a better lead management process to manage your leads and get the most juice out of the squeeze.
Welcome to Jobbers Masters of Home Service, a podcast for home service pros by home service pros. We are in sunny Las Vegas. Today's topic is 17 amazing hacks for automating your business, saving you time and money. I'm your host, Adam Sylvester. Today's guest is Phil Risher. He's the owner and founder of Phlash Consulting. Phil, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so Phlash Consulting, we partner with local service businesses, help them increase their sales, keep their schedules full. I actually used to be the director of business development at a multi-million-dollar service business and helped them scale their business, and now we partner with companies to help them do that.
Cool. Well, glad you're here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, let's get into it. So, Phil, one of the main things that we were talking about is automation, saving time, saving money, and building your business. And one of the key ways of doing that is with a CRM. But let's be real, you can't automate anything on pen and paper, right? You have to have some sort of, maybe our listeners on pen and paper, maybe Excel, but they really need to be on a CRM. Is that right? Like foundationally?
Absolutely, because in a CRM or platform, you can put people in different buckets or stages, and then you can run automations off of where they're at, whether they're a lead, they're an estimate, their job is completed. There's a bunch of different ways you can automate off of wherever they're at in those stages.
How do you actually automate something? Like, tell our listeners who just really have no idea, like, oh yeah, automate, that's a buzzword, but how do you actually do the thing?
Yeah, so typically when we look at a company, when we're working with them, we try to look at, well, what exactly is their process happening and where are the leak points? Like a very common one is that someone's out on the truck or they're out talking with clients and no one is booking jobs, or their CSR is busy on the phone and no one's booking jobs. That is an opportunity where maybe there's an automation that could come into play that you don't necessarily need a human aspect of it, but you can automate that sequence of happening. Mm-hmm. So that's typically where we look at is like, what's a manual process that we can automate? And that's where we would probably start.
Yeah. Leads nurturing, leads follow-up, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. So like the number one hack that I would say for any company that's out there, that when I was the director of business development at the air duct cleaning company, this is literally the first thing that we implemented was online scheduling. So if you're not doing online scheduling, I guarantee you're missing out on jobs being booked. The main reason is that if you are out on the truck and you're answering the phones, well, you know you're not answering all the phones. Second, if you have CSRs in the office, are they booking every single job? And then third, after hours, a lot of people don't want to call people. They just want to schedule. Mm-hmm. And so what we found is by setting up online scheduling, it allows you to book jobs when you're not able to answer the phones or talk to people. And that's what people want anyways.
Yeah, yeah. I always think it's weird when I submit anything and I don't automatically get a text or an email. I think it's kind of weird now with just email. But like, if I submit my information to somebody, I think deep down, I'm wondering, am I gonna get screwed? Am I gonna get scammed? Is this a scam? Who is this company? Deep down, I think that. And as soon as I get the text, hey, thanks for submitting your information, we're gonna be right with you, that puts me to ease so much. I think our listeners shouldn't overlook that.
Oh, absolutely. The automatic text or automatic email or both back when you submit a form is huge. And to your point, it validates that, yes, they received this, but then it also acknowledges it from the business. So people can say, hey, okay, I guess I need to stop my search now because this company is on it. They're on it. I feel like they have a good plan to touch base with me.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so we're automating leads. So you're talking like maybe the next day they get a follow-up. Have you approved your quote yet, right?
Yeah, so let's look at this sales process for a lot of businesses. So typically the way that it would work is someone goes to your website, they call your business or they fill out a form. When I was at the air duct cleaning company, this was our process. They would get it into their email inbox, the customer service representative. They'd print out the piece of paper that came out in over the weekend. They'd set it on their desk right here. They'd call the customer. They wouldn't answer. They'd mark a LM for left message, and then they'd have a stack of all these leads. And I'm like, okay, well, who's calling these people back? What's the process for this? So another automation is when a lead comes in, send it into your CRM. So that way it alleviates someone having to manually enter it in every single time into your CRM. Mm-hmm. But then to your point is when you call that person and they don't answer on Monday morning because everyone's at work, what happens? Mm-hmm. A lot of times you don't need more leads. You need a better lead management process to manage your leads and get the most juice out of the squeeze.
Yeah. I'm curious if you have an example of maybe a client of yours or someone who's done that kind of thing. I'm thinking about from a CRM standpoint and a lead standpoint, leads are precious. Right? Leads cost a lot of money to get usually, and they're precious. And not everyone is ready to play ball the first time. I submitted a request a couple weeks ago. I was very serious, but I didn't end up booking the sales appointment with the company like for almost a month later.
That's right.
And I was just busy. It didn't mean I wasn't serious, but if they had, and they nurtured me, thankfully.
Yep.
But if they hadn't, I might have fallen off. I don't know. It's so important.
That's right. If you go back to the analogy of like the juice and all the juice in every single squeeze, a lot of times people get leads and they think of it a lemon and they just squeeze it one time and a little juice comes out. And they say, okay, I need to get another lemon to get more juice. When really, if you just keep squeezing that thing and try to get as much juice out of it as you can, then you move on to the next one. So some automations that you can set up for your business are, what is your value proposition as your business? A little bit about your business, maybe some case studies or testimonials or reviews that you can share with customers. These are things that you can put in an email or text message sequence every couple of days. It's like, hey, haven't heard from you. Here's a little bit about our company. Hey, haven't heard from you. Did you know that we also offer this? Hey, haven't heard from you. Here's an awesome case study in your neighborhood of this X, Y, and Z. And those are some things that you can build out that are automated that then, to your point of like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, you're nurturing that lead and following up with them.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have an example of a client of yours maybe that has implemented some of these things?
Yeah, tons. I can give you an example of a lawn care company, for example. Basically, what happens is someone fills out a form for an estimate request. Right then and there, they say, hey, we got your request. Then it says right after that, hey, tell us about your project. Do you have any pictures you can share with us or any additional information? Then the next day it says, if it hasn't heard from you, hey, haven't heard from you. Are you still interested in getting this project done? Yes, no, all that kind of stuff. And then it goes into the next sequence and it kind of has a decision tree. This is maybe a little bit more advanced, but having some type of a walkthrough to do that. One big thing with automations that a lot of companies should look at is how to stop the automation from happening.
Yo, that's huge.
Yeah, because if you're nurturing the lead and then they call you and say, hey, yeah, actually, I want to get the job done. And then the next day they say like, hey, haven't heard from you. Want to get this work done. They're like, this is very unorganized.
Yeah.
So you need to have some trigger to stop that automation in there.
Phil, this is great. I want to take a minute though and pause and talk about why we love Jobbers so much. Phil, why do you and your clients love Jobbers so much?
For us, it's definitely about the reporting. When we talk about automation, we look at automating, your sales, your estimates into closed jobs. And with the reporting, it allows you to see, well, how many estimates have I done this month and how many closed jobs have I done this month? And it allows us to really benchmark how things are working based off the reports.
Yeah. For me, I think it's the automatic invoicing. Complete game changer for my business. And, it just charges all of our lawn accounts every week, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Bam, bam, bam. Saves me so much time. It automates that. So you need to try Jobber too. New users can get an exclusive discount at jobber.com/podcast deal. Go get it and start automating your business today. I know personally, I've used Zapier a long time, Zapier, for the triggers and whatnot. I think of the last year or so, AI has become really big. Even Zapier and a lot of these platforms are using AI to make it even easier for the beginner to get started on some automations. But if you were to recommend someone to get started, you would definitely recommend that they implement some sort of Zap or Zapier is the leading one. Are there other ones that people could use?
I would say Zapier is probably the best one out there because it's just so simplified for you. Most platforms or CRMs, Jobber included, they'll have different triggers that allow you to say, if this happens in your platform, then do X, Y, and Z. So one, like what we're mentioning is, okay, a lead comes in, then what happens to it? Then enter it into your CRM. Then turn it into a quote. When they approve the estimate, then do this. So when they approve the estimate, then stop this automation, for example.
Yeah.
So it allows you to kind of tie in some automations that are happening with your CRM as well.
One thing you've helped me set up is AI response to 5-star reviews. We get so many, of course, and we get 5-star reviews. And I don't know why I hate responding to those things. It takes so much time and effort and thought. I just hate it. And so it just, bam, as soon as someone leaves a review, AI goes in and leaves a really unique response. Another thing that I've used is for my landscaping company. A lot of times people are in two boats. They either just want a very basic mowing quote, which is very simple. We beam that over to them online. But if they want to meet with someone to go over like a big project proposal, that kind of stuff, then I have a Zap that instantly sends them an email from Gmail. It's not like MailChimp or anything that says, hey, if you want a mowing quote, then it's coming. But if you want to book a consultation with us, then click this link and they can just book a meeting in like Calendly or Google Calendar. And so, that's automation at its finest.
That's right. And to be honest, we get a lot of pushback on this for online scheduling because people say, well, all my prices are variable and I don't want to give a price on my online scheduling. And to your point, it's like, well, just set up an option for them to schedule a free consultation or estimate. And whether you use Calendly and Zapier, you can connect your Gmail account and just have it automatically send an email out to someone. And you can use Zapier for free. Yeah. And just set that stuff up.
Yeah, it's hard, but figure it out. I would. It is hard. Service companies have a wide range of prices, but the way of the future is online booking. It really is. People want to buy on Amazon. They want to buy Spotify subscriptions all just right now.
That's right.
And they want to book your services online too. And sure, you might have to might have to get creative on the pricing thing, but don't just not do it because the pricing part is hard. Everyone has that same problem, and some people are really taking the bull by the horns and like figuring it out. Maybe have a range of prices, but like that is something that I'm very passionate about. I think it really needs to happen.
That's right. And I'll give you another secret automation that we've implemented along with online scheduling is just because you have your residential COD, cash on demand type of client for online booking, there's a whole nother side of online booking that a lot of people miss, which is the referral partner bookings. And 9 times out of 10, if you were to go reach out to a referral partner, let's say you do lawn care and you're reaching out to an exterior siding company, you say, hey, if you send me a lead, I'll give you X, Y, and Z. And the way that you send me a lead is you go to this page on my website, .com/referral, and you can schedule a time for me to literally call these people back, your referrals, or you can submit your referral here. That process is foreign to most people, but it crushes it for the companies that we implement it with, because it allows for those referral partners to then send in leads and schedule right in there.
Okay, hold on. We got to unpack this a little bit. So tell me more about that. So some of your clients are having these sub pages with forms that are specific to each of their partners,
correct?
I guess. And that's how you track it because they use the form.
Correct.
And then I am curious, how are your clients compensating their trade partner? Just cash?
Yeah. So what they'll do several different things. They usually don't do it based off of the lead coming in, but they say, if we book this job, we'll give you X%, or we'll give you this fixed amount for this job. And now that you have this form, you can run it into an Excel and then have a list of these people, or in your CRM, you can do different things. But yeah, it's a great way to automate that process. We have companies that literally 50% of their business is just referral business that comes in from all these different partners.
What?
Yep. Millions of dollars.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I'll give you an example, like a moving company. They partner with a bunch of realtors. Realtors can then just go there, submit a lead, and then it goes directly to the consultants, sales consultants.
Well, that's a really good idea. I'm going to start that tomorrow.
Yeah, you should, especially with realtors. It's a great way.
Yeah, I'll be darned. If Masters of Home Service has been a game changer for you and your business, then we want to hear from you. Go leave us a review and tell us what you think. Help us build this community and level up together. Any kind of automation ideas for once the person says yes and they're in and now we have to go fulfill, anything happening in between those two steps?
Yeah, so this is probably where most people miss the mark from a sales process is they do the estimate and then it's just sitting out there and they're out running jobs, they're out, fighting fires, and they don't have a process to nurture those estimates. They're just sitting there and whatever they get back, they do. Hopefully if someone's slow, maybe the office manager or CSR will call them and follow up or something like that. And what we found was if you take when an estimate is created, then you create an estimate follow-up process that follows up on it, that process will convert 20, 30% more estimates for you just by having some type of a sequence like that. And that process would talk about, similar stuff. Tell us a little about your company. Here's all our great stuff. Tell us about the service that you offer, all our great stuff. Here's our frequently asked questions about the service that you're thinking about. Here's a cross-sell, all this stuff. And then one pro tip on this is if you put an expiration date on your estimates, like, hey, these are good for 30 days, just throw it out there. Then as you're nurturing that estimate, you're like, hey, you got 10 days left on this estimate. You still interested?
I like that.
Yeah. And
the countdown.
You're slowly counting down for them. And then after 30 days, you're like, hey, this is the last time I'm going to be reaching out to you. Just want to make sure it's not the right fit or got to re-quote you, something like that.
I'll make it 12 hours. Yeah, 10 hours, 8.
Yeah.
Fast. Make
people want that countdown to get into that estimate process.
Countdowns are very powerful.
Yeah. And so this is what takes us back to kind of having that stop on those stop gaps, because again, if you're nurturing this estimate and they call in and say, I want to get this done, and then you still are hitting them up about this. Some people even throw discounts as it gets closer to nurture, like, hey, here's 10%. Maybe this will help get it over the finish line because we only got 30 days. We have a promo going for the rest of the month, something like that. But in a lot of CRMs, like Jobber, for example, if someone approves the estimate, then you can fire off and say, remove this from the sequence.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
So definitely that works good.
I know that we have, when someone approves our quotes and then it's time to go do the job, I feel like there's a gap there. It's like we celebrate, we have a party, that they approved the quote. I'm exaggerating, but we have a party. But then we're like, okay, on to the next guy to approve. But we have this client who wants to do business with us. And I feel like there's room for improvement there in terms of like making them feel special even after we get married. We date,
Yep.
we date, and then finally they say yes, and then we all go on to the next one.
Yeah, so there's two parts to this, which is that process of approving the estimate and then getting the job done. There's obviously cancellation rates that we all have to face. And so you want to follow up with those people, not just the day before, but throughout that process of getting to their actual job that's going to happen. And then if the job does cancel, are we following up on those cancellations as to why? Do they want to reschedule? That kind of stuff. One of the awesome things that we've seen in that process from quote approval to actually job completion is the opportunity to upsell services.
Right.
So it's like, hey, when my tech is out there doing X, Y, and Z, do you want them to look at this while they're there as well? Since they're going to be out there, it's only, X, Y, and Z additional. And a lot of times people will say, yeah, actually, I didn't know you offer that service. Let's add that on there while they're out there.
I'm curious, you may not know the answer to this, and that's fine. Do you have any idea what's best in terms of like, is a text really good for upselling future services? Is an email? Is a phone call? Obviously, phone calls are usually always the best, but they're not automated. What's the balance there? Any insight on that?
Yeah, so with texting, people don't really want to get bombarded with text messages every single day, counting down to their stuff. Email, they're like, okay, this is fine, following up with this. Text, what we found is like, if you do it every couple days, maybe like 3 days out, 1 day out, then that day or something like that, that works good. Emails is a really great opportunity for those upsells because it's not in text. You got a small window of what you can hit them with.
Mm-hmm.
In email, you can hit them with it and then have a separate call to action that doesn't seem very salesy. Where with text, if you're like, hey, do you want to upgrade this when we're out here? It's like, oh, dude, chill. You're doing too much.
Yeah.
In the email, it's like a little bit more opportunity to upsell and add value and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The call, though it's not automated, is the home run of home runs when it comes to upsells. Because they're like, hey, we're just confirming your appointment for tomorrow. We're all set for here. By the way, do you want us to take a look at this while we're out there? It takes an additional 30 minutes, but a lot of our clients are really looking for this service as well. It's much more easier to convey that sales process, and you can even incentivize your CSR to upsell.
That could be automated with voicemail bombs if someone wanted to. It couldn't be personalized because it's a pre-recorded message, but you could use something like SendJim, or there's a lot of platforms out there that allow you to, once the trigger is quote approval, they could get a voicemail bomb, for example, like a ringless voicemail the next day or 2 days later, say, hey, we're so glad you approved your quote. Looking forward to seeing you. We do X, Y, and Z. Be sure to ask your technician about those services too.
Yeah, that's good. The hard part about voicemail drops is that then people are calling you back a bunch.
Oh,
they're like, wait, I missed a call from you. Did you mean to talk with me?
And they didn't listen to it.
Yeah, they didn't listen to it. And then your customer service is like, oh, I'm not sure.
What did Adam do?
Yeah, what did Adam do again? So yes, you can do that though. It's just, we've seen that you can get blown up by calls. And
Yeah.
like, what?
No, I think the very first automation I ever put in place on purpose, like very intentionally, was reviews follow-up. I think it's the easiest. Jobber does this now with reviews follow-up. Nice Job has a great integration with Jobber. There's others out there. I think that one is potentially the most important, to be honest.
I would completely agree because that allows for customers that are extremely happy to leave you a review, which is great, but it helps so much on the front end side when it comes to search engine optimization, getting leads in the door. People want to read reviews and it's a big part of your ranking. So it allows for you to automate that review process because everyone says, oh, I tell my techs, we need to get reviews, and they never ask for it and they just stop there. If you could automate the process and also maybe incentivize your technicians, that works too. Another one that goes along with that is referral opportunities. So you could send out an automation that says, thanks so much for choosing us for your service. If you have any other neighbors that are interested, here's a $50 gift card that you can just forward to them and you can look like a hero for them. That's a nice referral opportunity. The other one is, hey, we have a drawing for a $100 Amazon gift card every single month for referrals. If you know anyone, send this to them and you can be entered to win.
I like that idea. I struggle with the pure transactional referral base. Like, if you give us a lead, we'll give you $50. I personally have always struggled with that, but I like the Amazon sweepstakes. We're like, hey, we're just going to pick a winner. It takes a little bit more of the transactional part of it out for me. It makes it a little bit more of like just fun, I guess. But yeah, so are you seeing success with that? You're seeing success with referrals?
Yeah, definitely. We've seen some companies where, and again, even if you get, 2 or 3, 5, 10 referrals out of it, it's just an automated thing that happens.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's so cheap.
And then you just pick someone that got referred in every single month and say, hey, thanks so much for referring us. We really appreciate your business. Here's the...
Get a huge check put all over Facebook.
yeah. Drive out to their house.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Reviews is really critical. I think for 2 reasons. One is, the company with the most reviews wins.
Yep.
I think you touched on this. I do think that it benefits you to incentivize your in-field staff, your technicians, to give them a certain amount if they get a review. If their name is in it, give them even more. make it, because I talk to a lot of people who are like, I just can't get reviews. They might be high volume too. They see the 1,000 people a year maybe or more, and they're just not getting reviews. And in my view, you can get 20% conversion rates. Out of 5 clients that you serve, 1 of them should always leave a review. And that's kind of high. 10 is pretty good.
Yeah.
But with automations in place, with 3 to 4 reminders over the course of the next 3 weeks or so, with good technicians, you can get 1 out of 5. That's a lot of reviews.
Yeah, another automation off that is if you have multiple technicians and you want them to recognize how great they are at getting reviews, there are automations out there that we've built before and that you can utilize in some of these platforms like Nice Job and stuff, where it will filter down your reviews based off if they mention Adam, if they mention Phil, and then you can see all the reviews that Adam's mentioned that month. So then you can have an automated report that goes to them and says, hey, Adam, you got 20 reviews and these are all your, raving fans. Great job.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a great scorecard for reviews that you can send to them.
There's so many things I want to do in my business, but I just don't have a way to do it.
Yeah.
I want that report, but I don't really know how to get that report. So that's a good example of one that I'll ask you more about later. Well, is that something that you build for your clients? Is that a pretty sophisticated thing?
Well, so tools like Nice Job.
Do they do that? Nice Job does that? Okay.
They'll have components of that or remnants, and then you kind of have to build stuff off that. Podium is another one that they have that kind of thing. Bird Eye, all these different platforms that are out there. They have different ways that you can report on this. There's also platforms out there that will build the reports for you. So yeah, we build them for clients to help them with that stuff. There's just that's why when we first started the conversation, it was like, we talk to the companies and kind of see where are these big missing points and say hey, because when we partner with a company, there's so many automations and it's overkill automations and then there's just stuff going everywhere. So it's kind of let's work on these things systematically as we're talking through what are we trying to do in the business? What are we trying to accomplish? How are we trying to uncover these things? And that's what I would recommend to people is start simple. Okay, let me look at my leads on my website. How can I get them to go into my platform? How can I set up a nurture for my leads? How can I set up a nurture for my estimates? Then how can I set up a review process? Kind of walking them through that funnel and building that. That makes it more palatable than
if the ship is seeking, you fill the biggest leaks first, and then you fill in the smallest leaks.
Exactly.
So, okay, I do want to ask you, there's some listeners out there that are like, I know all this stuff. I'm doing all this stuff, pretty advanced business owners. What would you say to them? What do they need to know? The advanced, the 2.0 stuff.
Yeah, I would say for those people, a lot of times business owners, they like this stuff, but they get bogged down in it. And so for those types of business owners, I would say it's good to set it up, but it's changing so much. And so right now there's a big one with ChatGPT, OpenAI, it's on Zapier. And so the next level to this is actually building out that communication sequence with ChatGPT. So an example of this, a lead comes in, we said the automation of tell us a little bit more of your project, or can you share some pictures with us? Then it goes over to the manual side of a CSR, someone having to respond to that automation. Well, with ChatGPT, now you can build that conversation back and forth in a decision tree to then communicate with stuff. Same thing with your estimate nurture. A lot of times people are prolonging it because they have questions. They might respond with a question. Well, then guess what? It's on a manual process to respond to that question. Well, now you can use ChatGPT to then communicate back. You build out a list of frequently asked questions. It communicates back and it works into the decision tree. So that's kind of 2.0 of all.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Phil, this is great. I'm going to try to boil down all the things we talked about into 3 takeaways. Number 1 is online booking. Jobber makes this easy, but online booking, you want to be able to book jobs in your sleep and when you're on the job site.
Yeah, a lot of our clients use the Jobber online booking tool. It makes it super simple to do free consultations, even to itemize your services and have people schedule services right online.
Yeah, 100%. Number 2 is reviews follow-up. You want to be able to ask your clients for review after you're done, automated for 3 to 4 weeks afterwards. Jobber, again, makes this easy with their marketing tools.
Yeah, you can send a simple text message right when a job is completed, send them a text, get the review, pretty streamlined.
Yeah, 100%. Number 3, so that you're not so spammy, at least perception, is you want to add some good content in that follow-up. So someone submits a request, and then maybe say, hey, this is how you clean your windows if you want to do it yourself. Or maybe it's a little bit harder. Just some value added stuff so that they feel like you aren't just banging on their door all the time. Phil, that was great. Thanks for being here. How do people find out more about you?
Yeah, they can go to phlashconsulting.com. It's PHLASH consulting.com. Click discuss your business. We do free marketing audits where we sit down for 30 minutes, go through all your stuff. If it makes sense to work together, great. If not, you have a game plan to help you grow your business.
Sounds great. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for listening. I hope you heard something that will make your business more profitable, more efficient, and more automated. I'm your host, Adam Sylvester. You can find me at adamsylvester.com. Your team and your clients deserve your very best, so go give it to them.